Khalil Herbert was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. This shines a huge spotlight on Roschon Johnson. A lot of people have been looking at him over the last year or so as a handcuff running back, as an upside flyer on the back end of their rosters, dynasty and redraft. So that being said, since the spotlight is shined on him, we're going to do a deep dive today to see whether or not you need him for fantasy football, how he projects going forward, and if you like him or not. But before we dig in though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing these deep dives every day on as many players as possible with the You Need series, so you can make those decisions by looking at the advanced analytics, the situations of the player. On top of that, we're going deep on the waiver wire multiple times throughout the week, so you can find those diamonds in the rough. On top of that, we're using these videos to help you set your lineups. Click that button right now. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. But starting off, Khalil Herbert's now a Cincinnati Bengal. We all know this. We talked about it yesterday. But what's the inverse here? Roschon Johnson. Roschon Johnson's been getting the workload anyways. Khalil Herbert hasn't been a factor. So why are we looking at him? Because people are looking at him. People are talking about him. People are thinking about picking him up. People are looking at him as a stash now. And some of those people need that information, and that's why we're here. But we've been getting some work here. We've been getting some opportunities. Not a lot, but we're getting work in the passing game. We got 5 targets in game, 3 targets in another, 3 in another, but it's few and far between too. But the thing about his prospect profile here is he's a running back that has a little bit of juice and some size to him, which could be very interesting if opportunities open up. We're looking at what he's done over the course of his career last year and this year, and he can provide some fantasy production. He's always been sharing the backfield. He's never been the main guy. He's also had moments where he's racked up receptions, and then games where he didn't rack up any receptions. He's good in the passing game, but not like tremendous or overly electric. He's just there getting the job done for his role. But the thing about this for fantasy football, he's a guy that can show you a little bit of promise. That's what this chart says when you're just looking at this from a macro view. He's a running back that shows you a little bit of promise. Going back to Texas, not overly productive. I wonder why. I wonder if there's a guy named Bijan Robinson there that's just dynamic, that's a generational talent, just preventing the other running backs from seeing touches on the field. But if you look at the yards after contact per attempt, 2022, 2021, 2020, all over 4 yards. That's good. The first year, 3.64. I get it. The attempts aren't high, but we're over 90 in 2021 and 2022, so the volume's okay. I mean, it's not going to be tremendous from college. Bijan was there. That's what you expect. But we get drafted in the 4th round. One of the top picks in the 4th round. First running back selected in the 4th round of the 2023 NFL draft class. Still a day 3 pick. Day 3 picks are less likely to hit. And they don't have that sunk cost wrapped around them. So teams will use them, but they need to fire quickly and contribute quickly to the NFL team. Or these teams will start bringing in other players. But it doesn't mean he won't hit, or the players drafted in the 4th round or later won't hit. But they do need to hit the ground running for them to be a mainstay in fantasy football. From the combine, you saw him run a 4.58 40-yard dash, had a very good 10-yard split. A speed score solid considering he's 219 pounds. Burst score's a little bit low. Again, he's not overly productive, but we move well for our size. We got some wiggle for our size, and we're looking at the production in this offense. 6 games, 35 rushing attempts, 108 yards. It's the DeAndre Swift show. He's not going to steal his lunch. He's not going to steal Swift's job. There was a chance earlier in the season when the offensive line wasn't doing great. DeAndre Swift wasn't doing great. And then we turned things up. We started using Swift more in the passing game. We started scheming up Swift a lot better. And Swift was playing better. Everything got better. Players can get better. Players can have slumps too. Things can go in slumps and things can get better. DeAndre Swift is a running back with a lot of potential. He showed it at Detroit. He showed it at Philly. He shows it here with 3 different teams. He's got a lot of upside to his game, especially as an electric runner when he's got the ball in space. Roschon Johnson, you're looking at him more of a handcuff. And the thing about him as a handcuff, do you want the handcuff on a Bears offense? Do you want the handcuff behind DeAndre Swift? That is the question you're asking yourself. Do you like the talent? I consider him a good running back, but I don't consider him like a running back that I must have, that when I look at what he did in college that I'm over the moon about. But when I look at DeAndre Swift, that is what I expected to see going into the season. We start off on the down, but we've been hot these last 5 games or so. We've been hot, and we should be hot getting the workload going forward. We should see volatility because it's natural, but we should be hot as long as we're healthy and on the field. I think the big thing about DeAndre Swift is the injury history, what we saw at Detroit's. That could reemerge. I mean, it's there in his prospect profile from previous years, but he could also Iron Man it out and to finish the season strong. But DeAndre Swift is a running back to pay attention to, because if something does happen, Roschon Johnson will be the next guy up. And DeAndre Swift was a big-time running back coming out of Georgia. Had good speed, catching the ball in the backfield. We go to Detroit, and we had our moments there. We had some good games. We had some good moments. We had some down moments too. Then we go to Philly. We had some good moments there as well. Up and down though. But then we get to the Bears. Started down, but we've been on the ups, and we're looking at the offense here. And we have a 40-29, a 58% to 42% run-pass ratio here. So it's very mixed, but the run game is getting a lot of opportunities, and plus we're seeing a lot of work to these running backs in the passing game. Roschon Johnson's even getting it in some matchups. That's something to pay attention to. However, when I look at Roschon Johnson and I look at him compared to the other stashes, there's a lot of stash running backs that I like better. Like a lot of the rookies, I just want to take a stab at them just to see if they get that opportunity. If Roschon Johnson gets his opportunity to be the guy, if DeAndre Swift gets hurt, then he could volume his way into good production. Definitely could happen. He gets work in the passing game and grind it between the tackles. However, you're just gambling on injuries at that point. And with that being an unknown, I like a lot of the other running backs a little bit better. I know Tyler Algier, if something happens to Bijan Robinson, I know he's in an offense that's going to push the pace, that gets the ball downfield, and I know he's going to get 20-plus opportunities a game, and I know we got a history of good production out of him. Not top tier, but it's steady and it's reliable. Running backs like that, or if I'm going with a younger running back that's got that 4.3 speed, top end 4.4 speed, and I'm just trying to hit the home run. I'd rather try to hit the home run and try and win it than get a running back here where he might get you good production as a starter, but may not be that guy like David Johnson back in the day, those last few games, once he finally got his opportunity during his rookie season, that just hit that home run over the fence. He does have some goods to his game where he can be all right in fantasy, but there's a lot of other stashes alike. However, those stashes might be zapped in your league, and you're just looking for something new, or you don't like the stashes available, or you do like Roschon Johnson. It's not like I don't like him. It's that there's other running backs with some upside, like a Jalen Wright. A guy like him, he's a home run hitter. He's a guy that can go off on any given touch in an offense that's fast-paced, that uses their running backs. If Mostert or Achane go down, or if they start ramping him up on the back end of the season, I'm highly interested in that. However, when I look at a guy like Roschon Johnson, I need something to happen to DeAndre Swift, and I think it's just going to be voluming into production, which is okay. It's okay, but when I'm stashing, I'm just looking at the talented running backs like a Jonathan Brooks, and I'm hoping that they do something, they cash in, they let those talents shine on the field, they start getting more opportunities, and you can roll with them. There's nothing really wrong with Roschon Johnson. I think he's going to be okay for fantasy football if something does happen to DeAndre Swift. I think there's other options I do prefer. However, if those options are zapped, which more than likely they probably are zapped, then it's okay. After all, at this point, you're kind of gambling on injuries at this point. Any RB2 can step in to volume on any given Sunday if the starter goes down. And as of right now, a lot of the starters are holding it down. We're not seeing many injuries at the running back position. That could potentially change, and if it does, we might see the chairs shuffle a little bit on the deck when it comes to fantasy production at the running back position. I suggest having some running backs stashed. Like, don't have too many tight ends. Don't have too many quarterbacks. That's an easy way to get you more running backs. Don't have too many volatile wide receivers or headache wide receivers. Just have enough to get the job done and just move forward and let the chips fall where they may. However, when a starting running back goes down, those touches go to the next guy. The volume and potential output is a lot more predictable. Those running backs hit about 1 every 3 games. Those sucky running backs that just all of a sudden get the workload, they hit him about 1 out of every 3 games. Sometimes it's 1 out of every 2. Sometimes it's none at all. But right now, when we're looking at some of these running backs stepping in, they're hitting about 1 out of every 3 games, which is good Russian roulette if you're hurting at the running back position. So you may want to get a stash running back here and there on the back end of your roster, which I believe most people who watch this channel have stashed running backs. But a lot of people look at these running backs as player good, player bad. However, it's just pretty much just strategizing your bench. Just having a couple of those backs back there, just in case you can hit that lottery for the week and you don't have to fight for that running back off the waiver wire if the unlikely happens. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.